Hey everyone, welcome back to the lab. In this video, we are going to be talking about how to log analytics events to Fathom from SvelteKit. Okay, so why am I making this video? Well, as much as I love Fathom and SvelteKit, there really aren't that many real-world examples out there. And so my solution to that is to just kind of document some of these core common flows. So you have an example of how this is integrated in the real world. So by the end of this video, you should have a pretty good overview of how Fathom and SvelteKit work together. You'll also have an example of using Fathom Analytics events from SvelteKit and how that integration works. And then you'll also have links to how to get all the full source code that I'm about to show you in this video. Okay, so in this video, first just going to give you an overview of Fathom Analytics so you can make sure you're in the right video. Then we'll talk about analytics events so you can kind of have an overview of what we're actually building here and why it's useful. And then we'll finally end with how to actually send those events from SvelteKit. Throughout, I'll be giving you links to find all the source code and to learn more about this as next steps. Okay, so let's start with Fathom Analytics. So Fathom is currently my favorite web analytics provider. It's privacy first, and so if this is the Fathom you think we're talking about, great, you're in the right video. If not, probably wrong video for you. Reasons I really like Fathom right now are it's simple, it's privacy first, and it's cheap. And for me, this means it's a simple scalable system, and I love simple scalable systems. So Fathom wins in my book. Now, I've talked about Fathom a lot in other videos, so I'm not going to go too much into it here. But if you're looking for the just base integration of Fathom Analytics and SvelteKit, you can find that video there. And also, if you just want an overview of kind of what Fathom looks like and how to use it, you can check out this dashboard video. I'll have the links to both of these in the description. And now, if you're interested in Fathom but haven't taken the leap yet, I do have this link here for a $10 credit, so you can kind of try that out for a first month for cheap. And we love saving money here, so yeah, that's a win. Okay, so if that's the Fathom you thought we were talking about, great, you're in the right video. If not, don't continue watching this. Let's talk about analytics events. So Fathom gives you a lot of really useful data right out of the box. And you should really expect your web analytics provider to give you all these. And if not, you should probably find another one. But everything from visitors, uniques, your average time on site, your bounce rate, refers, things like that, you're going to get by just putting your payload on the page. Now, the problem is if you want to add extra domain context, like for my new site, creationcycle.xyz, where I'm selling templates I found effective throughout product cycles. One thing that I want to know is not just who's coming to my website, but what parts of the traffic are actually buying this stuff. Because if I know that one section of traffic is more valuable to me because it's actually leading to sales, then I can target that one better. And so here's an example of some domain context that's important to me and my site, but probably isn't important to all sites, and thus most web providers aren't going to provide this by default. And so here's a screenshot of Creation Cycle and one of my pricing boxes for one of my templates. And basically when you click Buy Now, I'm logging this analytics event to Fathom so that I can understand this traffic better. And so what this does is it unlocks these analyses based on the traffic that actually led to these events. And so here's some real data from my website where we can see that when people click this event, I'm logging the event. And when we click this in Fathom, it's going to filter all of the data that we have by those ones that actually led to this event. And so for me, I can see a lot of people are using Chrome, some people are using Safari, so got some Apple users, and then I don't have any referrers, which probably means that people aren't coming here organically from sites shared to other sites, but are actually coming here from links that I'm sharing directly to them. Now, I have really small N because I don't have that many visitors, but you can see how this could be really useful in a lot of different project contexts. Okay, so now that we kind of understand what these analytics events are and how these might be triggered, let's go into the actual example of how to log these from SvelteKit. So for this implementation, we're basically going to have a really pared down simple version of what I just showed you that I use for Creation Cycle. It's just a simple page with a button, and then on click of that button, we're just going to log this event to Fathom. And this is kind of what it looks like. Now, all the source code that I'm going to show you, all these snippets, you can grab at the blog post to copy and paste them, and I'll have it linked in the description as well. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to get Fathom into SvelteKit because this is going to give us the script that we can call to actually send this information to the Fathom backend. Now, probably most of you are going to do this in layout because you want your analytics on every page, and basically we're just adding something to head that gives us our payload from Fathom, and then we just need to add in our ID here so that Fathom knows what site we're actually trying to get this information logged to. Not going to go into a lot here because I have that other video going into more detail, but this is the first step that you need. Now, once we have Fathom actually on our site, on our page, we can use it to send an event. And basically what we can do is we can call the Fathom.trackGoal method. We give it an ID. You will need an ID in Fathom, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And you can also add another piece of data here. It's going to depend on the context what this actually means, and this is something you can set up in the Fathom UI as well. So in this code here, basically we're just creating a button handler, and what it's doing is when you click it, we're just logging to console so that you know that like this is actually working. And then we're calling Fathom.trackGoal to actually log that information here. I do have it in a try catch because this is not controlled by us. This is not like packaged in our website. And so there's a lot of ways that this can fail, like if the CDN fails or maybe it's just not present on the page. So I want to try catch it because although this is important to our page, it's not something that I want to fail the entire page on if it does fail. So we'll just try it, and if it doesn't work, we'll just catch it, and then we'll just send out a simple warning to the console. Down here is just how we're setting up the page. It's really simple, really just a button. We're just linking the button handler using the onClick from SvelteKit, and then we're just giving it an easy-to-read little label. And that's it. That's really all the code that you need to actually get this integration working. But I always like to actually validate that this stuff works by giving a demo of a working example, and so that's what I'm going to do here. I have an example project, which is SvelteKit on Node, and then I run pretty much everything in Docker containers. So I'm doing the same here with Docker and Docker Compose. This is totally overkill for this example, but this is how I build projects. So this is how I like to build examples. Now, if you want this full example project and all of its source code, you can get that if you're part of my Haminians membership. You get access to all the kind of example projects I'm using to validate all of these videos. And you can learn more at the link here and in the description. But for now, let's jump straight into the code and show you how it works. Okay, so I'm in my VS Code editor and I've got my project pulled up. And the two most important files I want to show you are layout. And so this is how we're actually, pulling in the Fathom script here. And then I filled it in with an example site ID that I've just created for this video. And then the next thing is the page, and again, this is how we're just creating the button, and then we're saying, on click, we want you to actually log, and here I've got the event ID filled in as well. Now there's a lot of code here, but really it is just kind of like setup stuff, so you don't need to worry about it. So now I'm just going to restart my Docker Compose so you can see that this is the actual website that we are running, and it's gonna download stuff and build stuff before it can actually spin up. Okay, and now it says it's started. So I'll come over here to Chrome and I'll just refresh the page so that we can see if it's live. And looks like it's live, we're actually getting a page, and now let's log to Fathom. So I'm just gonna click this like a few times, we'll click it like 8 times. We see that it's logging out to console.log, so it seems like it's working. But now let's check on the Fathom Analytics side. So I've got my example pulled up, and then I'll refresh here. It was at 15, now it's 23 because I've been testing this before. And we can see that this integration seems to be working. Now I've already talked about in my previous video how to get the site ID, so I'm not going to show you how to do that here, but I do want to show you how to get the event ID because it's non-obvious. So if you come down to events, there's this button here to get manage events, and if you click on it, that will bring you to the events page, and this is where I got that event ID. You can see that when you're creating an event, this is also how you can set up like what is actually in the payload. So what does that like number that you send with it actually mean? And that's it. You might also be interested in this video where I talk about how to run SvelteKit on Node and Docker, similar to my example project. And as always, let me know if you have any questions about Fathom or SvelteKit or Docker or anything like that. And this is where you can find me. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.